So here are the books I'm gonna do my February TBR. Because it's almost February. So might as well. Um, First book I'm reading in February is gonna be a vlog. It's A Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I've wanted to read it for a while now. I don't really read thrillers, but I've wanted to try thrillers. It is on my 26 and 26 list. Which I tried to make a video that got messed up. So it's just a list I have. So I want to vlog it because I've never read a thriller before. I've read like romantic suspense, but never like a real thriller. And I want to try to get into them a bit more. Just have like a little genre yeah, like genre palette cleanse. In between like fantasy and romance books. So that is the first book I'm going to be reading. I'm actually going to be starting that today. Next is I want to read the rest of the Briar U series. I read The Chase. I want to read the rest of them because I do have the Campus Diaries series that is also on my 26 and 26. I do want to get to those relatively soon. I thought it would be cool to finish the Briar U series this month and then um I can do that maybe next month. I can start the Graham Effect or even this month if I get to it. The other thing I want to read is the Unloved series. Not the Unloved series, the book Unloved in the Undone series by Payne and Corinne. Because I do have the arc for Unbound. So I would love to get to reading that currently. Unloved. I have not read Unloved yet. I loved Unsteady. Haven't read Unloved yet. I'd love to get to Unloved so that I can read Unbound right before it comes out and review it and maybe make a vlog. So that the review is timed well around the time of release. I do want to get to Alchemized. It is on my list for the year. It is also, I tried reading it at the beginning of January, and I've been in a slump since I read Heated Rivalry and The Long Game, and I've now since finished that series, but I have been in a slump with other books. In December, I also was trying to hit my reading goal for the year, which was 100 books. I did do it, but it did kind of put me in a slump, like rushing to get books read at the end of the year. So I am trying to be smarter this year about not leaving 25 books for December, which is what happened this year. But I had a couple months last year where I was slumped, which is why that happened. This year so far, I'm trying to get out of the slump immediately. Like it's January. I've already read 2 books, which isn't a lot for me. But I did start the year in a slump for like a good week. I didn't read anything. And then I picked up another one and I struggled reading it. I wound up reading Common Goal and Role Model from the Game Changer series, which was also on my 26 for 26. And I finished those two. Literally, I finished Role Model last night. I'm gonna start The Housemaid today. Um, but yeah, so I'm hoping that I'm out of the slump and we won't go back into a slump for a while and we'll be able to just keep going. So I'm gonna try Alchemized again. I also want to start Shatter Me. This is also on my 26 for 26 list. I want to read the series. So I think that's gonna be my last goal for the month. My TBR is gonna be Shatter Me. And as long as I like the first book, which again, Shatter Me, I would like ideally to read the rest of the series. So I have The Housemaid, Alchemized, Unloved, and Shatter Me. The other thing that I want to read, I know I just said Shatter Me is going to be my last one, but and the Briar U series. I want to finish that. So I have like 7 books on this TBR. It's fine. I'm not going to get to all of them, most likely, but I'm going to try my best to. The last thing I want to read is I just downloaded I have 3 series I just downloaded that I want to get to. I want to try Red Rising because it's gotten popular recently. And I really loved like The Martian, that kind of stuff, like the sci-fi on like other planets, which I don't think is what that is. I think that's more like fantasy sci-fi. But I think that could be fun to like again try a different genre. I'm very trying other genres this year. So like my goal I think at one point is going to be to read a nonfiction book, which I have before. I read Kelly Bishop's memoir. I really want to pick a nonfiction book next month, I think. This month I'm trying to different genres. So thriller, housemaid. I'm also probably gonna finish that series if I enjoy it. Like all of these books are like books in series that I will read the whole series if I enjoy it, except for Alchemized, I believe. So Red Rising series, the Lightlark series, because I haven't read that yet. And I've wanted to and I just haven't gotten to it. So I want to try to get to that. Now that there's like a bunch of books out, and I can maybe take my time working through the series so I'm not left on a cliffhanger or something. We'll see. And then the last thing is I did download the Like Us series and Bad Reputation by Chris and Becca Ritchie, who wrote the Addicted series. And I am missing the like Boys of Tommen Addicted vibe of like their romances and their not dark, but they have darker topics to them. But they're like deep contemporaries that have more depth to them and more going on. So I would love to get to either Bad Reputation or start the Like Us series. I'm thinking I might want to start the Like Us series. I again am really into the MM romance right now with like the heated rivalry and all of that. I've read a bunch of not just Game Changer series. I've read a bunch of MMs. And I really like them. I don't know why. Something about the fact that I can read that and not be in the story. Like I don't relate to a character, right? I don't feel I'm obviously not a man. I'm not a gay man. So I don't relate to the characters in the story. Some aspects you can relate to in a sense, like okay, Ilya has depression, can relate a little bit. Shane gets really anxious, can relate a little bit. Shane has issues with food, can relate a little bit. But I'm not obviously a gay man, so I don't relate to that aspect of the story, just like little side things here and there, which I'm actually really enjoying because sometimes I just don't want to relate to the character. I don't want to feel like I'm the character all the time. Sometimes, yeah, it's fun to be like, I could be Violet. Yeah, okay, that could be fun. But sometimes I just want to be like, I'm not Riddick, but like, I love reading about him. And I feel like in the sense of MM romance, you get to that. Like, you can't relate because you're not a man. So you don't relate to the character in that sense, but like you can just kind of like out of yourself read another story and consume media that has nothing to do with you. It's just you're consuming media that you can't relate to. It's not about you. It's you can't relate to it at all and there's nothing about it that's like, "Oh, I'm this character." But it's nice to just get out of reality. And like ultimately is that not why we read is to get out of reality? We're not reading books about the things happening in the real world. I'm not sitting down reading a whole book about COVID-19. Like I lived that. I don't need to read it, right? Necessarily. There is a degree of it's good to put those things into media to keep it like historical and alive and stuff and like so we don't forget these things happen. But I don't want to read about it when I'm living it right now, right? Like sometimes you just want to escape reality. So I think to a degree that's MM romance can do that. So I do think that Like Us is going to be where we wind up. So I did download all of those. I did get all those books, and we are gonna read them at some point. So we'll see. But I do know that the first story is Maximoff, and I saw a clip online of Maximoff being like, "I just want my mom." I have no context. I have no idea what this is about. I don't know if it's like paparazzi is following him, if someone's hurt. something's going on. I don't have any context for this clip except for I know that he says, I want my mom. And that, because you have so many times of like Lily and Lo being concerned that they won't be good parents, that like, and especially once they tell Maximoff, and I think it's Some Kind of Perfect, about Lily and her addiction and all that, because Lo's was obvious, but Lily's wasn't. And that it was going to come up and that he might see it in the media and stuff, and because he was getting older, and that she was like worried that that was going to change how he saw her and how he treated her. And he was like, no, like, you're my mom. But like, she's still, you see the internal dialogue of her still worrying about it. And then for me to see the clip of him being like, I want my mom, I was like, it didn't change, nothing changed. He's still just her little boy, and he's still a mama's boy and just wants his mom. And like, I love it. So I think I want to read that before Bad Reputation, but I don't know if that's a bad idea. I might like do some research and see like what people recommend doing in terms of that. But those are the books. So you have Housemaid, Briar You, I want to finish, Alchemized, Shatter Me, the Like Us series, Light Lark series, or Bad Like Us or Bad Reputation, Light Lark series, Red Rising, Unloved. We've got 11 books. I don't like that number. I like even numbers. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. I'm going to put these books away. I'm going to go get reading Housemaid, and there will be a vlog of that probably next week.